It's the 30th of the 7th, 2025. The time is 17 minutes past 8. This is chaotic. Yeah, we could talk about Lewis. We could talk about Ferrari. We could talk about sponsorships incoming. Lewis's cryptic Instagram post. We could talk about Felipe Drugovic's marketing deals and sponsorship. The fact that this means that he will be at Cadillac F1 next year alongside Checo Perez or Valtteri Bottas. We could talk about all those things, but all those things fade to black when Chris Harris, currently, as at 2025, the goatiest moto sports motoring journalist to have ever goated, does a video on the Ford Performance YouTube channel with who? Max Verstappen, for some say soon to be 5-time champion, and they talk about everything driving style. They talk about Max's ambition to drive other cars GT. They talk about his driving style. They talk about track walks. They talk about everything. For the longest time, F1 aficionados all around the world have debated, mooted, how does Max like to drive the car? How does he do it when nobody else in that Red Bull RB21 can do it? How does he manipulate the car in and on around the limits of adhesion? Well, in this video that we're about to go through, he tells you everything, chat. This is chaos scenes. Christmas and birthdays for F1 aficionados have all come at once. Should we get into it? We'll go through the clips and then we'll react to it. And I don't even get Ford Performance. Listen, I will link the video in the channel, in the chat, in the description, even get it right in the end, Cameron. And you guys can go and watch it for yourself. Ford Performance is 38 minutes long and it is golden. Nothing. Drive to Survive, ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, has nothing on this. In the first instance, Chris Harris asks Max Verstappen around the Nordschleife circumstance. Franz Hermann, who's that? From where did that name come? Roll the clip.
But mainly, for me, more in like racing cars. So yeah. At the moment, you know, F1, then I do spend a bit of time in a GT3 car.
Stop there, can we just discuss that?
Yeah.
You went to the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
You called yourself Franz Hermann.
Yeah, Franz.
Well, how did you make that up? And how much were you laughing when you did it?
Yeah, so the team, Immo that we have the GT3 car with, they were like, well, Mike, you can drive under a fake name. Do you have any recommendations? So I was like, you know what, let's make it really German. So I was like, Franz Hermann. I was like, that sounds good.
Because he could have been like a sports car racer in the 70s, couldn't he?
Yeah, but then again, you know, if you would choose like a famous name, then people rock up.
Yes.
So I was like, let's not do that. Just make it really German.
But you love driving.
That Maximilian Verstappen had to roll incognito is worthy of mention. Just wanted to go to the Nordschleife and drive. Tell me that you're a racing driver and nothing but a race driver without telling me that you're a racing driver and nothing but a racing driver. This dude is a killer, an F1 peddler, like the likes of which maybe we'll never see again in this era of Drive to Survive and sports stardom. Next one. Talks about the Nordschleife, and again, there's been rumour and speculation about the times that he did. Max Verstappen in this video with Chris Harris, courtesy of the Ford Performance YouTube channel, goes into the requisite detail. Roll the clip.
The planet.
And from sim to reality was literally, I mean, tell me your lap times, they're extraordinary. So you start off in the virtual world, and then you drive it really, and first lap out, what was your time?
Yeah, so first lap out was a 7:56 on the VLN, like the VLN layout.
Yeah.
So that was good. I mean, I think the few weeks before that, the pole was a 7:51. And of course, we just run it with a full tank, right? Because you need to, I wanted to do more laps in a row. So then, yeah, second lap, 7:54 on the planet.
And from sim to reality was literally.
Mate, that sounds like a lap record to me. Only after a couple laps. Roll this next one and let's speak about it.
It's been extraordinary because you've definitely had some pole positions that outperform the car. Does that make you smile more when you know the rest of the world's going, when you know Fernando Alonso points at a screen and goes, wow, only he can do that? Yeah. That's got to make you feel good, hasn't it?
Of course it does. But of course I'm not doing it to show the people, of course, what I'm capable of. I'm doing it because I want to just try and be the best at, you know, with myself. Because I'm quite, probably in that sense, quite a perfectionist. It's never good enough. And if I can, of course, come out of the car and I can say to myself, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's never good enough, but pretty good.
Have you ever said that was really good?
I've had a few laps that were pretty good. Yeah, when you look back at it.
You said pretty good again.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, it was. I mean, I think even last year Jeddah qualifying, like my first run in Q3.
Yeah.
I came back in the box. I was like shit. This is like I cannot do. I said honestly, I don't know if I can do this again.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't go faster in the second run, so I couldn't do it again.
Lest we forget, not a bad lap. And your boy Cameron out here hasn't set the contextual table appropriately. They've got in an RS200 here. You can see the bloody label at the back of the car. One of the most classic rally cars to ever have rallied. Proper classic settings, if I recall, it was on Sega Rally. This introduced many people into motorsports in the first instance. Classic Ford, when Ford were proper Ford, and you get Maximilian Verstappen, a treat if ever I saw or heard one, explaining about his best lap. Saudi Arabia, Jeddah Corniche, 2024, are you having a giraffe? That was the lap that delivered upon the promise of Sector 1, Sector 2 in 2021. God tier levels of quick, not to mention Suzuka this year, not to mention Jeddah Corniche this year, not to mention the British Grand Prix this year. He's made an industry out of doing qualifying laps that very few in history could do. And with a view not to bury the lead, in the next clip you hear him talking about Ayrton Senna. If you no longer go for a gap, then you are no longer a racing driver. Roll the clip.
This quotation again, actually, it's Senna. If you see a gap and you don't go for it, you're no longer a racing driver.
Yeah.
A bit of me really does believe that.
Sometimes you can still use that argument into the steward's office as well.
Have you used those words?
Of course.
Maximilian Verstappen in the steward's room telling them, if you no longer go for a gap, you are no longer a racing driver. Oh, the humanity. Getting to see Max like this, laughing, joking with another F1 aficionado, another god tier manipulator of a steering wheel, is indeed in and of itself god tier. Very rare that you get to see Max like this, relaxed, talking about F1 and other motorsports, other formula. In this next clip, here's where it's going to get techier than techie things. For the longest time, we've debated about Maximilian Verstappen. Is he an early or late breaker? Is it adaptability? How does he go into Rascas 3/10 behind Fernando Alonso and gain it all back in Sector 3 alone? One corner alone. What's he doing? How's he got this innate ability as far as his internal gyroscope to feel where the grip is before he even gets to a turn? How does he manipulate the nose of the corner in and on and around the limits of adhesion at the apex? How can he manage and mitigate for that understeery RB21? How? Chris Harris is a fan. Chris Harris likes to talk about these techier than techie bits as far as Formula One and driving, handling dynamics are concerned, driving style is concerned. And in this next clip, he gets his bloody stick out and asks Maximilian Verstappen to show him how he approaches the geometric racing line as versus the V line. Check this out.
There's your exit.
Yeah.
We can start back here, but I want to know the critical parts of the anatomy of a corner from you.
So it's a flat corner, not banked, right?
It's a flat corner. This should see, look, it's all coming out. So let's just say it's cambered a bit helpfully.
Okay.
So a little bit of camber. It's not bad camber.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
So we're coming in.
Yeah. So of course you try to optimize it all the way to the white line, right? Because
Yep.
if there is no curb here, it's just grass. You
Yeah.
run it up to the white line.
Yeah.
I would say.
Interesting.
Well, wait. I would do like a later, if it's a little bit banked.
It would be
also,
a later turn.
I would do a later turn.
Later
And then you,
turning
of
from
course,
Max,
then
yeah. Through
come
high
out
speed
again.
turns.
So I'm allowed to stick back. So the Max Verstappen special sauce, and there clearly is some special sauce.
It's quite a late turn.
Is the magic happening here, or is it happening here? I think it's happening here.
You have to always commit to the entry of the corner.
Wow.
But again, it's a balance, because if you commit too hard on entry, it will probably oversteer or understeer, and then you have no exit. So it's like you have to feel what you can do on entry to then, of course, pick up throttle nicely again on.
But that's a lovely
on the
phrase.
exit.
What you can do on entry, I don't think anyone else can do.
True.
But that's where you have to find your limit, yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's then a bit nicely banked, actually, when I look at it now, this is a bit late.
It'd be there.
Yeah, it's a bit sooner.
And I bet if we put it into a mainframe computer,
Then
that
it's a
would
bit
be
easier.
exactly. No, but
That's
you'd be exactly the same, wouldn't it? Is where you pointed out.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Harris, sir, you've missed the trick. As brilliant as you are, as much as I respect you, Chris Harris, as the goatiest motor journalist to ever motor journalist. However, I think you've missed the trick, Chris Harris. Read the Mark Hughes book on Maximilian Verstappen, the biography. And in there, he will tell you that the genius of Maximilian Verstappen is in the bloody apex, how he allows the rear end to float around him. And again, manipulating the car around the limits of adhesion on the limits. That's where his gift is, Chris Harris. You missed the trick and you didn't ask the $64,000 question. Of course, it's commitment on the turn into. Of course, some say that he's an early breaker, but the true gem, the jewel in the Max Verstappen handling dynamic and driving style crown is, of course, what he does on the apex, especially in an RB21. You missed a trick, sir. You had all the aces in your hand, Chris Harris, and you failed to play the right one at the right time. Oh, and by the way, a lot has been made about track walks. If you don't do it, then you're not a real racing driver, some say. Maximilian Verstappen says rubbish, absolute nonsense. Please continue.
Thing about you entering a circuit, I think the perimeter of the circuit, when you enter that circuit, a switch goes off.
Yeah, I mean, so if I would come to a new track, first thing, of course, what you would do is, of course, you look at onboards, whatever you can find.
Yep.
What I actually also like to do is look at Google Maps sometimes, so you just have it in your head, yeah.
So are you visualizing it the whole time?
Yeah, so you can think about it already a bit.
What about the track walk? Do you think the track walk's overstated?
I never do it anymore. Only if the track is completely new, I might do it, but I always say my outlap is my track walk, because you drive a bit slower.
Because it became almost like a part of the uniform, didn't it? If you didn't do the track walk, you had
to... I mean, honestly, to walk for like 5 to 7 kilometers, it's just boring. I just prefer to do my outlap a bit slower, look around, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
The thing about you entering a circuit, I think...
I mean, sacks off the track walks. It's chaos, this. I love this video so much. There are a couple of other bits that I didn't catch. They talk extensively about the V-line. What does the V-line look like and how do you navigate for it, Max? Well, the V-line's all about adaptability, says Maximilian Verstappen. You've got to understand your car and you've got to understand its bottlenecks, therefore, and how you can drive around them. So too, he talks about racing Jos Verstappen, that Nostradamus back in the day would jump in a car as well, and he would race against his dad, a former F1 driver, I will have you know, from different positions on the grid. Chaos settings. Who knew? Not me. I love this level of insight from Mr. Maximilian Verstappen. And we were worried about Chris Harris post Top Gear. Touché, sir. Market leading motoring and Formula One content here that you won't get anywhere else. Drive to Survive. What are you talking about? I mean, I like Max says Miracle, but damn, the glazing is crazy. Lol. I mean, is it glazing if it's truth and fact for the avoidance of doubt on this channel? Miracle, if you're brand new here, ladies and gentlemen, is that we will never sacrifice truth value nor objectivity at the altar of any cognitive dissonance worthy of the moniker. Oh, it's like I walked into a Max warehouse. Damn it. It's a Maximilian Verstappen video, Miracle. What else do you want me to do? Interesting. If you're not interested, then there are other channels that you can go to. Klotsky says, Ford engineers digging up that parking lot to save the data. Safak, love Chris Harris. He's also a no-nonsense guy. So Chris Harris missed an opportunity to dig further. And this is my point, Benzie. As brilliant as he is, the question was there. Talk to him about what he's doing on the Apex. The other drivers, mention no names, Sonoda-san, Danny Rick, Checo Perez, Liam Lawson. What is it that you're doing, Max Verstappen, in and around the Apex that they can't do? It's more than just adaptability. It's feel, it's internal gyroscope settings, and it's techier than techie things. I can't wait to go and rewatch that 38-minute video. Ford Performance YouTube channel, an insight into the mind, the racing mind of one Maximilian Verstappen. Some say one of the best to ever do it in F1. Mount Rushmore of F1. First round Hall of Fame when all is said and done. Techier than techie things. How do you like, ladies and gentlemen, yourself some Maximilian Verstappen F1?